So, namaskar, friends, and welcome once again to lecture number 7. So, we have been discussing the spread of Indian diaspora, and we feel proud that we have the one of the largest diaspora around the world, as our people have proved to be one of the most enterprising people around the world, making it to different parts of the world and have been contributing in a big way. So let us try and find out. Uh, you know, as I said, we boast of having one of the largest diasporas in the world, and we are spread across all the major regions of the world. So, among all the Indian states, also, it's interesting to note that some of the people uh, have migrated more compared to some other people. So, to name a few like Punjab, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Kerala, Bengal, and Tamil Nadu, they top the list of those people who have migrated. So, if we look at their spread, there is also a design in how they have spread. When we talk about Punjabi and Gujarati diaspora, they are mostly found in Europe and America. People from UP and Bihar are mostly found in European colonies where they were taken as indentured laborers. And in the Gulf countries, we find that we have a lot of people from the southern states of India. So, if we look at the historical journey of people of Indian origin or India who have migrated to different parts of the world, and I would not be talking about the ancient diaspora, I'll start with the colonial diaspora. So, in 1800s, we found out that indentured laborers from India were taken to Fiji, Mauritius, and Caribbean islands, mostly for plantation purposes. And later on, they all settled there. Some of them came back, but many of them settled there. And now they are all happily settled and one of the most industrious and prosperous people of these countries. From 1947 to 2000, we have seen the migration of skilled workers mostly to the USA, to UK, to Canada, and to other developed countries where they have been contributing significantly in the areas of technology, uh, medicine, and education. And from 2000 onward, we have again noticed global professionals, people moving to all parts of the world, to Middle East, to Australia, and to other parts of the world as well. If we look at the geographical distribution of Indian diaspora based on the nature of migration, and these are not exclusive categories, of course, because we find that people migrate for all purposes to all parts of the world. But yes, majority might fall in this category. So, if we talk about the people migrating to North America, will mostly find that the skilled professionals or IT professionals or people in the area of academia or business or medicine have mostly migrated to North America. When we talk about the European countries, we find that colonialism contributed significantly to the spread of Indians in the European countries. And side by side, we also have professional or contemporary diaspora in which our people are going there for jobs. In the Gulf countries like Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia, we mostly find that the migrations are temporary. People don't go there with a view to settle down. They go there for seeking jobs and making some kind of prosperity for themselves, and then they come back. So mostly the flow has been of unskilled or semi skilled people to this part of the world, who have been contributing in retail or oil sector or construction sector. If we talk about Africa, we'll again find that the people were taken as indentured laborers during the colonial period. So, colonialism contributed significantly to the spread of Indian citizens to Africas. If we again talk about the Caribbean and South American countries like Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, Jamaica, and Oceania country Fiji, we'll find that the descendants of indentured laborers are mostly part of Indian diaspora. They are the same people who had been taken as indentured laborers from India during the colonial rule, mostly for sugar and rubber plantations. And again, they contributed significantly in the infrastructural projects like railroads and others. And at the end of the indenture, they settled there happily, and now their generations are permanent citizens of these countries. If we talk about the Indian diaspora in Malaysia, Singapore, or Australia, we mostly notice that the skilled professionals or businessmen or part of those British plantation laborers, they are the people who belong to Indian diaspora. Again, let me tell you that the Indian students are in numbers uh, as in Australia, in UK, in US for higher studies. So that is also a very buzzing Indian diaspora, and it is in numbers. So if we try to make sense of the distribution of Indian diaspora through this pie chart, we can always find out that, the majority of the people are in Southeast Asia, which contributes 32%, followed by Gulf countries that contribute 19%, and then they are also, spread across the globe, uh, in some number. So if we look at this, we find out that the Indians are found almost in all continents, in all parts of the world, and that accounts for a strong Indian diaspora which has been contributing significantly um, in the growth and development of India as well. If we again look at this map, we'll find that, uh, and the other day I told you that India is the largest, or the first among the countries getting remittances from their diaspora. So we top the table of remittances. This is the data from 2020, and the figures have been, listed there, and we find that Indians get significant remittance from their diaspora, which helps Indian economy in a big way as well. If we look at the highest population of Indians country wise, we'll find that the United States tops the table, followed by United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Myanmar, United Kingdom, Canada, South Africa, Mauritius, and Singapore, to just name the top 10. If we talk about the characteristics of Indian diaspora, we find the same kind of variety and diversity that is, hallmark of Indian culture and India as a nation. So we always, talk about unity in diversity, and when it comes to talking about Indian diaspora, we again find that people from different classes, castes, religions, regions, or socio-economic backgrounds, they all form Indian diaspora. So we can call it India in microcosm, or micro India we can call it. So there is tremendous variety and diversity in the Indian diaspora, and since the Indian people have always been uh, deeply connected to their roots, customs, and traditions. So, these diasporic people always become, agents of cultural preservation, in that wherever they are, in whatever circumstances, they always try to prize their Indian heritage and try to preserve it to the best of their ability. And since they are deeply connected with their roots, they have a very strong sense of identity, and although they are diverse, they share a common bonding and common Indian identity. And again, if we look at the Indian diaspora, this is not only one of the greatest in numbers, but this is also one of the most active, economically and politically active community across the world. So, we will always find that wherever the Indians are, whatever may be their number, they have always reached the top positions and have been always in the limelight, or have been contributing significantly both to the host nation and to their home country. There is another aspect that I would like to highlight, that the global distribution and geographic diversity are also part of Indian diaspora. And as we saw in the previous slide, the Indians are spread all over the world. They have not spared any particular territory of the world. So, if you talk about the spread of Indian diaspora, we can safely say that we have migrated to all parts of the world. And you know Indians always try to strike a balance, although it is very difficult. Diasporic communities always have this difficulty of how to balance their home culture and the host culture, because on the one hand they don't want to part with their own culture and try to retain it at all cost. On the other hand, the exigencies of their settling or working in another country demands them to follow the host culture. So, they are also the agents of change and continuity, in a way we can say. They celebrate Indian festivals, build temples, mosques, and gurdwaras. They speak different Indian languages and make Indian cuisines, and that way they showcase the tremendous richness of culture that we Indians have. They have very strong family ties, and although they are permanently settled in another country, they maintain very active ties with their families and relatives back home. So, that is another very important aspect of Indian diaspora, that the Indian people, wherever they are, they never forget their roots and their own people, and as a result, they share a very active and positive bonding with the country itself, resulting in the country's progress. If we talk about the significance of Indian diaspora, we'll find that they have tremendous value, uh, socio cultural preservation. They have tremendous value in preserving socio cultural values, like they have been preserving the enriching traditions of India. They are contributing a big way in a big way in cross cultural exchanges with the home and host countries. They hold a specific economic significance. As I said, a lot of remittances are coming to the country, a lot of trade and commerce relationships are being established and carried out. Uh, we find that the people of Indian origin are opening new markets and opportunities for the people of their home country in the host country, and at the same time they are acting as active ties between the host and home country. Through their investments, again they are providing economic boost to their home country. If we talk about the political significance, Well, we find that, as I said, the Indians are one of the most active people politically and economically. So, wherever they are, they have been contributing significantly and playing active roles in policy making as well. So, in the US itself, we find that there are many Indians who have made it to the US Parliament, who have headed some of their states, and so these people are acting as soft power and are, influencing US policies that are pro India. So their advocacy and their influence have certainly benefited India, as we find that they are acting as our brand ambassadors in the countries where they have settled or they have been working. They hold a very deep cultural significance, in that they are spreading the native language, traditions and festivals. They are also initiating literary exchanges or cultural exchanges. Our traditional practices like yoga, Ayurveda, uh, they are making their appearances in these countries in a big way, and mostly the people of Indian origin are behind them. So, friends, when we look at the spread of the Indian diaspora across the world, we find that this is very significant with its presence globally, and it is also contributing in a big way in the development of both the host nation and the home nation. So, these are some of the references that you can refer to for further understanding of this topic. We again continue with the background uh, discussion on Indian diaspora in the next class. So, thank you very much for your company.